Good evening, everybody. My name's Neil Evers. For those who don't know, I'm a direct descendant of the Garigal clan from the Guringai people. The Guringai people are part of the oldest continuous culture in the world, and I pay respect to the elders both past and present. And also I'd like to thank the group here tonight for respecting and acknowledging the traditional custodians of this land, the Gay Able people. Tonight's an interesting subject. There's a group called, on the Northern Beaches, called the Budawa, Aboriginal Signage Group. We've been going for about 4 years now to try and progress with signs of Aboriginal heritage and history within the area. Well, we got going really well, and then of course the amalgamation came. So we built it back up, and we have one sign in progress which should be delivered very shortly at Budawa. Now the word Budawa, does anybody know what Budawa refers to? No? Budawa in Dahri and in Guringai language means powerful power. So it's a great talk tonight, and we really appreciate people coming in to talk to us about the powerful owl. Have you ever seen a powerful owl? Yeah, fantastic. We had one at home. It was on our clothesline, and you turn around and it's gone. You know, it's magic. But we were a bit worried because we've got a dog about this big. We couldn't find his collar down the road. But I think the dog barked when he realised it wasn't any deed. But look, I'm really looking forward to tonight's meeting, and I appreciate everybody coming along, and I welcome you to this incredible land of my ancestors. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Neil. Now, everybody, I'd like to introduce Michael and Georgia. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having us. I'd like to also thank Neil for that beautiful welcome to country, and we would also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on where we now stand, and pay our respects to their elders past and present, and also to the Wallamita people who are the traditional custodians of Bowles Creek Valley, which is where we spring from, and pay respect to their elders past and present. So we're going to kick off with a little bit of music from Michael, which is Mikey's Hollow, written and performed by Michael.
So this is about our little Mikey the Powerful Owl, which is what our book's about, and this is his extended family, which we'll introduce you to later tonight. So this is about Mikey, and he's living in Bowles Creek Valley, which is in Beecroft, Cheltenham. I don't know if you know that area, near Narrabeen. Mikey across the Cheltenham sky. Land's contracting, Bowles Creek flows on by. One decision, the ties that bind. Ruthless adventures repay them in kind. Powerful owls in Bowles Creek Valley, from a stone cliff face to Whale Rock, we lament the fauna's impending fate in a pseudo biodiversity crowded nightmare state. Well, they fly Sheba with fish cake in pursuit, across the night sky holding their loving mood. Bare tree hollows, families gather at dawn, singing love songs as Mother Nature moms. But you and I have become regulars. We stand for the voiceless voices near and far. Animals and trees are the exploited ones for the profit of greed in liquid modernity. This community strong and tall, one and all, defends it all. This community strong and tall, one and all, defends it all. But you and I, well, we tried so hard to warn the people who dealt the losing cards. Animals and trees are the exploited ones for the profit of greed in liquid modernity. Powerful owls in Biles Creek Valley, from a Stowe Cliff face to Whale Rock, we lament the fauna's impending fate in a pseudo biodiversity crowded nightmare state. In Mikey's Hollow that we all call home, Mikey's Hollow that we all call home. Mikey's flying, flying everywhere. Come on, Mikey, wherever you are.
Thank you. Over to you, Georgia.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to be doing two parts tonight. The first one is an introduction to powerful owls, and we don't profess to be powerful owl experts. There are possibly some wildlife carers in the room who know more about powerful owls than we do, but we've spent a fair bit of time on them, and we'd like to introduce you to Mikey's family and to Bowles Creek Valley. So that's what we'll be running through: who we are, who's Mikey, a bit about Bowles Creek Valley, and then some information on owls, where they live, their vital statistics, other owls that they get confused with, their habitat, diet, the whole breeding process, their friends and enemies, and we'll finish up on the Powerful Owl Project. In the second part, we're going to talk more about protecting them and the issues that we've faced in Beecroft and Cheltenham and surrounding areas, and I'm sure they're issues that you will be familiar with and also trying to fight and defend to save not only the powerful owls but other animals. And I'll run through those in more details, but it talks about the way that you can get active in your community and possibly the ways that we've had success in fighting for our owls and their habitat. Okay, so who are we? I'm Georgia Cameron, and I'm the author of Mikey the Powerful Owl at Saving Bowles Creek Valley, and Michael's the photographer. We wrote that book in 2016, and we did another Mikey the Powerful Owl and Friends Saving Bowles Creek Valley and Beyond just last year. And we also collaborate to produce a community radio show on Hornsby Community Triple H 100.1 FM. We were doing that every Friday afternoon, but it's a big job once a week, so now we're doing that monthly. I guess we're described as environmental activists. The media refer to us as conservationists and bird enthusiasts. The local politicians, I'm not quite sure how they would describe us. My background is banking and financial services and property. I did a communications degree shortly after I moved to Beecroft and Cheltenham. I had a bit of a sea change from being a city chick. And I interviewed Michael, who was very active in the community, trying to stop the epping to Thornley third track. And we've been working on bits and pieces for 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, we're both originally inner city people. Well, I'm actually from Gunnedah, originally up in Gunnedah, Gunnedah up in the country. I don't know if you know Gunnedah, it's near Tamworth. When I tell people I'm from Gunnedah, they think Canada, but no, Gunnedah. If I say I've gone for a weekend up to see my family in Gunnedah, they say, wow, that's a quick trip to Canada. And then I moved to Balmain when I finished high school, and I lived there for a number of years. And then when I had a family, I went to Cheltenham because it was a nice, beautiful little suburb.
And this is young Mikey here. He's a bit of a celebrity with the 2 books. He's also got his own website and a Facebook page. And that actually started because we were finding that the voice of the community to save habitat in the Owls really wasn't cutting through the media. So we needed an icon, and Mikey became that icon. Then we decided he needed a Facebook page, and I became the voice of Mikey on the Facebook page. So he hatched in Bowles Creek Valley in 2015. As you heard in the song, his mum's Sheba and his dad's Fish Cake or Solomon is his more formal name.
That is the top bird there.
Yeah, so that's
his
Solomon.
father, and the mother is Sheba there.
And he has an older brother, Stevie, who hatched the year before in 2014. He also has younger siblings, Georgie and Porgy. That was a 2016 arrival. And just last year, Archie and Abby, because we decided to go back to a scientific, litter type naming of the birds. So this year, if we're lucky to have them, their names will start with a B. They've got some cousins who live nearby at Whale Rock, which is closer to Epping, and that's Uncle Alf and Auntie Betty. And they've also got some relatives in the Cumberland State Forest, Uncle Gino and Auntie Gina. And in fact, we've got one of our other powerful owl friends here. Gina, can you just stand up and introduce? This is Gina.
So if we can't answer it, we'll pass over to Gina.
And Auntie Gina is actually named after Gina. Mikey's named after Mikey, and we also have another man, Steve, who's our owl whisperer, and that's how Stevie was named. But we're getting into the more scientific names now. Okay, so Bowles Creek Valley is about 350 hectares of what we would describe as ecologically significant forest. And it's, if you know the area, it's on the Epping, Cheltenham, Beecroft, Pennant Hills border. So just about 25 k's or half an hour from the CBD. So we're very lucky to have that right in our backyard. It was named after Mari Biles, who was a conservationist, and she's actually the first female solicitor in New South Wales, and she was really quite ahead of her time. She was a very progressive woman, and I think some of the people in the community thought her a bit strange. Michael?
Yeah, yes, they did think she was eccentric, but she's an amazing woman. She's got, who wrote the book?
Anne McLeod.
Anne McLeod wrote a great bio of Mari Biles, so worth reading.
It is. And we refer to that at the end of the presentation. She also founded the Beecroft Cheltenham Civic Trust, and I don't know if you've heard of it, but there's a historic house called Ahimsa, which has the Hut of Happy Omens in it, which is on the footsteps of the National Park. And you're more than welcome to sort of wander there and follow in her footsteps. So she's part of our inspiration for what we do. So where do our owls live? Well, it's along the coast and inland slopes of the Great Dividing Range, and they extend from Queensland through New South Wales, Victoria and into South Australia. Look, everybody says, how many owls are there? And we talked to Bet Moth from BirdLife Australia only a week ago on this, and we don't really know. That's the answer. We need more research to know how many there really are. But a good estimate is probably 5,000. There have been estimates back in 2009 of as low as 2,000, some as high as 9,000, but she thinks that that is a fair number. And sadly, science predicts that 2,000 is the minimum number that allows a species to survive into the future. So 5,000 might sound like a lot, but it really isn't that flash. And about 3,000 we estimate are in New South Wales. Now, BirdLife have groups of people who monitor sites in the Sydney Basin. There's about 140 sites, so that could be about 200 to 250 owls that citizen scientists like Gina and Steve and Trish and Stuart and Michael are monitoring year in, year out. This year, and these statistics only came out yesterday, there are 104 nest sites that BirdLife looked at in the last breeding season. There were 97 birds, and that was about a 93% success rate. That was from their Facebook page yesterday. Now, sadly, 10% of those chicks didn't make it through the first week, and there were 2 incidences of cannibalisation. So it might sound like a lot, but they are classified as vulnerable in New South Wales. Okay, so is everybody pretty familiar with the owls, or would you like me to go over this? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So scientific name, Unox strenua, and it is the largest owl native to Australia, and it doesn't live anywhere else. You can see here, it's better to I'm still sort of feet and inches and pounds and stones girl, so you can see one there. But about 65 centimetres with a tail of 28, wingspan about 140 with the wing of 43. And up to 1.7 kilos. You can see the eyes in that dark grey facial mask. And if you have a look at the baby shots, they're pretty cute with the black mask on the white feathers, or the white down. The claws are amazing, and the power that they have in those claws, it does mean that the local cat or dog could be picked up by an owl. They do have that much strength. The chicks, as you can see, have got the fluffy white down, and then they turn into this adult with the dark chevrons. We've always heard or thought that the birds with the square head and are the males. You can see Fishcake there, or Solomon, has quite a flat head, whereas Sheba, the mother, the female, has a round or oval head. But that's sort of been dispelled, and people tend to think that the tail length is a better way to pick the birds, the longer tail length. In fact, Peg McDonald of High Ground Raptors had a bird in her care recently. Unfortunately, it didn't make it. It was a roadkill victim, and they did a biopsy, or autopsy I should say, on the bird, and she'd been calling it he when she was hand feeding it, and it ended up being a girl with ovaries. So we're sort of ruling out the square heads. But Michael, you might want to say something. I think
in general you'd still go with the flatter head. When they're small, like, you know, when they're just fledged and stuff like that, and for a couple of years, they tend to still all have a roundish head. Would you say that, Gina? It's only when they get older that their head tends to go flatter. It's obviously the way the feathers are formed, but it does get confusing sometimes when you look and you think, well, is that a male or a female? So maybe the length of the tail might be the better way to do it. But we're not going to be able to get up there and, ooh, that's a centimetre longer. Must be a female or a male.
Okay. Now, here you can see some birds that people get confused with and say, oh, I saw a powerful owl in my backyard, and put it up on Facebook and get all excited. But it's the boo-book owl.
Well, I was one of those people years ago. I saw, they were the first 2 owls I'd ever seen in Cheltenham, and I put it up on a page and said, oh, I've seen these powerful owls in Cheltenham, and so I said, I know, the southern boo-books.
And tawny frogmouths as well, which aren't even owls. They're a different species altogether, but people often get them confused. So we've got 9 species, 2 groups of owls, the Ninox, which is where Mikey and his family come from, and the little southern boo-books, and then the cute little heart-shaped owls. Okay.
So what's their scientific name?
Tyto.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
With the disc face?
The disc face, the heart-shaped, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Now, with the habitat, they roost during the day. We see them hanging out in coachwoods and turpentines, like even camphor laurels, which are described as a weed, but they're pretty happy there. The nest sites are generally in the hollows of 150-plus-year-old trees, angophoras. They're pretty happy with most eucalyptus. And the nest sites can be up to 100 centimetres in diameter, 200 centimetres deep, 10 metres off the floor, and even up to 40 metres off the forest floor. Now, Michael has been up on a ladder and peeked into.
Well, not that high up, but
No, not
high
enough to see.
with an
And
extended
they've
ladder.
got, yeah, they've got their own little eco climate
Yeah.
in them, and this one
Yeah,
has
they're pretty-
rocks and.
Yeah, but I think the rock that was found in this one hollow would have been a cockatoo up to mischief, because I think he wanted their habitat. But it's pretty nice inside. You know, it looks comfy. It looks warm, and it's sort of got like you know, a lot of bark that's actually been mulched down. So you know, not a bad place.
Yeah, and you know, the debate over whether a nesting box that you just put up on a tree or a totem pole is going to work.
Yeah, it doesn't cut
Yeah,
it.
really not too sure about that. There was a study in Melbourne where some owls came into an urban area and they put up a nesting box, you know, chained it to the tree, put in some nice, you know, leaf mulch and stuff. The owls did mate, and they did produce chicks. They found a claw in a hollow, and I don't know that the other one was successful, but it's a matter of banding them to know, you know, where they've gone. So
yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that man-made hollows would work for a powerful owl, though, would it?
Yeah,
I mean, they'd have to be massive.
yeah, they are. They sell them on the internet.
Ah.
So the male is the one that does a lot of the housework at this time, filling the hollow up for nesting. Okay. So the diet, because they're the apex predator, they're going through about 250 to 350 possums a year. That's the ringtail. Also flying foxes and a range of other birds and insects. So they're hunting at night, being nocturnal, and Michael will get photographs of them just hanging in the trees during the day with their prey, probably what we call as leftovers. So,
They hold their prey for the day and then they munch away, as you can see.
yeah, and they've got quite an interesting digestive system where they'll go through all of the feathers and they'll go through all of the bones, and then they'll regurgitate it as what we call a pellet. And it looks like basically the fluff from a vacuum cleaner if you hadn't vacuumed your house for about 6 months. And that's really important to the bird life people because they can analyse those pellets to see what the diet is. So if you see any... Yes, pass your pellets around. I don't know if everybody was game enough to take the lid off. And yeah, so that's sort of how Michael can find where the owls are by looking for pellets to see where they've roosted and where they've dropped their
You see a lot of whitewash
regurgitation. And if you see the whitewash, big piles of whitewash, particularly along the riparian zones, along the creek zones, that's how you'll find where they are. And I think one of the issues that we had when we made Mikey into the celebrity that he is was, well, what happens if people look on the Facebook page and they want to contact us and they want to go and see Mikey, because he's not like a tourist attraction. It's not like a, you know, a 3-ring circus down there. We try and limit it, you know, to the powerful owl people and, you know, special guests that are there for you know, for their own interest and education. But we haven't had any problems, even though we've had some American tourists on Facebook saying, "Oh, I'm down in Bales Creek Valley and I really want to see that owl. Can you tell me where he is?" So it's something to be really careful about. Yeah, they will take ground-dwelling mammals as well, rabbits and small rats. Graham Ross, who's been very helpful with promoting our book, tells the story of the cat that Uncle Harry gave him for the kids on Better Homes and Gardens, who disappeared from the roof one night and was never seen again. So he's been trying to explain that to his grandkids ever since.
I know, didn't he say to that cat, "Don't you go out at night," or whatever, and suddenly it disappeared.
And home range, just depending upon how much food they've got, 60 to 500 hectares. So with the breeding, which happens, you know, March, April, May, just in the last 2 weeks, we've already heard the hooting sounds. Has anybody else heard some woo, woo, woo? Yeah. Okay. It's a couple of weeks early. Normally we don't hear that till March, and we do document it so that we can work back from fledging to nest preparation and try and work out exactly the sequence of events for the year. They are very faithful birds, and they mate for life. If they lose a mate, they may find another, or sometimes there was a lovely book story, Michael. Do you want
The one in Melbourne?
to? Yeah,
Yeah.
where he lost the partner and.
Yeah. Well, that's right. There was land clearing that happened, and he's obviously if they lose their trees and that, they lose their habitat and that. But I think this male bird lost its partner. I don't know if it was roadkill or it was the result of the clearing though. But it stayed in that area and it hooted for 4 years for its partner.